Good evening, all. Hope my screen is visible. Okay. Hi, good evening. Okay, so let's start the session. Let me open my Google. Okay, so yes, I'm going to log into this same, whichever the workspace which I created yesterday. So same workspace I'm going to use. Right. Before moving to actual topic, it's a transactional management. Let me take one simple, simple activity for execute method. Is my screen is visible? Okay, so let me create a new project. So Java. And so this is for okay, so I'm doing it as in transactions. This is 3. So now we are going to talk about execute method. Okay, so actually in the last session, we have, we have gone through execute, update, and execute query as well. Right, so now it's about execute method. So how to create, any, it's not create, how to execute any type of query in JDBC. Okay, so that's with the help of, we can achieve or we can execute any type of queries in JDBC with the help of this execute method. Execute any type of query in JDBC. Okay, so that is our execute method. Okay, so basically, this method is provided by statement interface. Okay, so statement dot execute, which allows us to, or used to execute any kind of query, like select queries, or update queries, or delete queries, etc. So basically this method, it returns Boolean values. Okay, let's take one simple example for execute method. Right, so I'm going to create one package for so this is Java dot, I'm taking it as a Java dot JDBC dot okay. So I'm taking it as a basic SQL. So now let's take, let's create one class. So class name, I'm giving it as an execute method demo. Okay, so this is my class name. Let's finish. And now, so inside a class, we must have a main method, right? Inside main method. So as usual, so the common steps which we need to pass. What are those common steps? We have to load the driver class, right? So how to load the how to load this driver class? By using class dot for name. And here, so we have to pass what we have to pass? Driver name, right? Driver class we have to pass. So for MySQL, this is the com dot MySQL dot JDBC dot driver. And now instantiate it for connection interface. Connection con equals to driver manager dot get connection. So here we must pass 3 arguments, right? Okay, so before that, so it says connection. So let me add this jar, API. Along with this, we have to handle exceptions. Okay, throws class not found exception. And SQL exception. Right, so URL JDBC MySQL /localhost port number. So what is the port number? 3306. Okay, slash database name. So which is a database? That is ExcelR DB. Let me check once with MySQL. ExcelR DB it is. Right. So now let's go ahead with this. So what is the username? It is a root, and even password is also root. Okay. Now I'm going to create one string, variable. Let me write the steps. Loading driver class. Okay, so establishing connection with DB. Okay, so now create creating string variable. Okay, so observe string. This is for query, so I'll take name as a query. This is to assign query. Okay, so what is that query? Let's create one new table in our DB, ExcelR DB. Okay, so let's go to Workbench and get into this ExcelR DB and right click on this create table. So what database we can take up? We have taken student yesterday's class, right? So now first of all, table name. Let me take employee, or we could have taken it as an bank, but it's fine. Now I'm taking table name as an employee. Okay, so now I'm giving first name is EID. It stands for employee ID, and data type is integer, and yes, it's a primary key, and it should not be null. Okay, so then E name. Okay, employee name. So data type is varchar, and now employee name, employee address. Let me take phone number. Okay, and phone number, let me give it integer. Okay, phone number and designation, employee. Okay. Okay, so these are the properties. So we can add few more. Okay, so but I've taken only 4. So now click on apply. So yes, there is no issues. So it says that if any changes, the server configured with all the these letters with the lowercase. So yes, and now click on finish. See the same table, we can create even in a MySQL command line, client, command prompt. Okay, so now, yes, let me check this employee table. Okay, so now actually our table is empty, right? So now we can insert a few records. Insert into ExcelR db.employee. Okay, and values, so that is ID, and name. So name, I'm giving it as a comma, that's a phone number. So phone number will be numerics, right? So we don't need to enclose that with a single quote. But if it is a alphabets or characters, that we must enclose with single quotes. I have just given. So now designation. Okay. I have taken, let's see, I guess the numbers. Okay, so it's actually wrong. You know why wrong it is? So I forgot to use values. Okay, values. So now it's right. Okay. Yeah, both the records are inserted. If needed, we can run this. So you all can observe, right? So if needed, we can add few more records as well. Okay. So now let me, let's go to Eclipse. So in Eclipse, query, I'm just trying to select all the fields. I mean, all the records. Okay. So select start from. So what is it start from? Okay, so start from employee. Okay, so this is my query. Please observe. And now I'm going to declare one, Boolean variable. So Boolean, and I'm taking as a status or any meaningful variable. But yes, I'm taking it as a status. Status equals to actually, so here instead of connection, I have to create one more object. This is creating string. That is fine. I have to create an object for statement as well, because execute method works with a statement interface. So I have to create a statement. Create statement object. Okay, so how do we create statement? S3 equals to connection object dot create statement. Okay, so after creation, yes, it's for creating string, and now I'm creating Boolean variable. Okay, Boolean variable, Boolean status equals to now. So st is what? It's a statement object. St dot execute. Okay, execute with what? So we have to pass the query. See, this is a one way. If you don't want to declare variable and then pass that query inside it. So instead of this, directly we can pass. So I'm commenting. Okay. So I'm commenting this. And now what we can do here, directly we can write the query. So what is that? Select start from employee. So this query retrieves all the records from table. Okay. Right. So now I'm going to use one conditional statement. So if status, if status result, if status is true, okay, so then the control reaches inside this if conditional statement, because execute method returns Boolean value, right? So if it is true, it reaches this conditional statement. Okay, so now yes, result set. Okay, result set and its object. Okay, result set and its object equals to statement object dot get result set. Okay, so get result set, and now we will be taking while loop. While result set dot next, and now we can retrieve the records which we needed. Okay, so now system.out.println. So first one is int, so I'm passing the first index. Okay, I'm trying to access only first index. Okay. So first index means the first column. This is a column index. Fine. After passing, this index, let's go close this while loop and yes, close the connection. So what connection is that? Result set dot close. Okay. After closing, we have one more part, that is else part. Okay. Else we are going to take count. Okay. So int let me take it as an I. So int I equals to statement object dot execute update. Okay. So we're just trying to update it. Which query is that? It's not update. So it should be update count. Where is it? Result set, or it's st dot get update count. So I'm just trying to get the updated count when when the Boolean value returns false. Okay. Screen is not visible. Okay, let me reshare my screen. What about now? Please confirm. Is my screen is visible now? Okay. Fine. So now I'm just trying to get the count. Okay. So int I equals to statement object dot get update count. And I'm printing. So here we can print. Okay, we can print that updated count. Okay, so for printing that, system.out.println. So updated record count. Record count is, so I'm printing I. Hope it's clear. And now what I'll do, we can close all the connections. Okay. So basically we use, try with catch blocks, but here I'm trying to use, throws clause to handle exceptions. Okay. So let me, close the connections. First one is statement st dot close. This is for statement object. And we have connection object. Okay. So now these resources are released. Okay. So now let us check. Right. Run as Java application. Exception occurred where Java dot. Okay. It says, package name. Okay. So I'll refactor. Okay. Dot. Okay. So you know why? Because it's taking it as an what can I say, security issues, in the sense that actually JDBC, Java dot JDBC, these are the some standard keywords, right? So it is not allowing us to create. So I changed the package name. Still I have an error. So it says class not found. Actually, okay. So you know why? Because I have not added jar file. So which jar file is that? MySQL connector jar. So let's go here. And now build path. Go to configuration build path. Okay, so now in the libraries, we have to select, that MySQL connector jar. Okay, so now let's go here. Let me search MySQL connector jar. So I added this jar and let's click on. Okay, so yes, I'll refresh once. I'll refresh my project. Here it is. Okay, so now I'll try to run again. So hope you all can see. So actually, it's retrieving only ID number, because column index I passed it as a 0. If you want to, if we want to print all the columns, all the column values, we can add here. Okay, we can add it here. That is the result set dot get string. So index is 2 plus let me give here as a tab space. Okay, so now again, so we do have 2 more, right? Result set dot get string. Okay, so get string index column index is 3, list 3. Let me check my database. Okay, so name, it's a integer and again string. So this is not a valid one, so it's a 4. So now what I'll do, I'll go ahead here, result set dot get int. Okay, get int, here it is a 3rd index. So plus okay, so now again the kind of deployment, right? So hope you all can see. Any queries in this execute method? So actually control is not getting inside else part. So we are not getting any update count, is it? So because it's returning, our employee table is having few records. Okay, so this execute method is returning true. Okay, so when it returns true, directly control reaches inside if clause or if statement, and yes, so to retrieve and to print those data or records to the console. So we are using, or we must use this result set interface. Any queries in this? It's just a simple one. Okay, simple one in the sense execute method. Okay, so we have seen for execute update and execute query methods, right? Hope there is no queries on this. If any queries, please drop a message. We can discuss. Okay, fine. If no queries, so let's continue with the other topic, that is database. It's not database, it's about metadata. Okay, so it's about metadata. Now I'm taking one more, package. So I'm taking it as in JDBC dot metadata. So what is metadata? Metadata is nothing but data about data, right now? So here I'm trying to retrieve. Okay, so data, data about data. So what data we are trying to retrieve? I'm trying to retrieve data about tables, or we can retrieve or we can get data about database. Okay, so metadata is nothing but metadata. Okay, so this is about data about data. Okay, so two ways we are trying to get it. One is a result set, metadata, and database, metadata. Okay, so here results set metadata in the sense we're trying to retrieve information or data about table. Can retrieve okay, so data results at metadata is nothing but we can retrieve data about tables. So basically tables in the sense either table name, column name, right, column count, and which data type we have used, we used for the specific columns, etc. Okay, so same way, so it's about database. So we have database metadata, so can retrieve data information about database. So what information, what kind of information we can retrieve? So that's about which server it is we're using, and which version is about the database is using, and yes, number of tables, number of columns in each one, etc. So we can retrieve complete information about database. Okay, can get data about database. Okay, so example, I'll take it as an ExcelR. DB is my database. Okay, so now I just wanted to know which version it is using. Okay, and which platform it is. I mean, database platform. So it's a MySQL, right? And yes, how many tables we have? So we can get some, information about database. So that is about database metadata or result set metadata. Okay. Okay. So now let's create one simple example here. Yes. One simple example for result set and one simple example for database. So now take a class. So result set meta. I'm just giving it as an info because we cannot use predefined class names and keyword names as a user defined class names. Okay, so yes, class result set meta info. So now I'm taking the we have to write main function, and inside main function, so let me first of all import Java API, Java SQL API. SQL. Okay, so now let's get into the class. So class dot for name, and here driver class. So com dot mysql dot JDBC dot driver. Okay, so let me write the comments. Loading driver class. Okay, so before that, let us handle. So now what I'll do, I'll just take try catch block. So I'm taking try block. Okay. Try block. So along with this, try, there should be a catch block. And here exception is what kind of exception it is? Class not found, right? And yes, if needs to pass here, either you can print it or you can retrace that exception. So I'm passing here E. So this E is an object of this class not found exception class. Okay, so we do have we have to handle one more exception, right? Let me continue later. We can create connection object. Okay, connection on equals to driver class. It's driver manager dot get connection. So in this JDBC colon SQL colon // so localhost. This is the default one. Okay, so localhost colon 3306. So it's a port number for MySQL workstation, right? And / database name ExcelR DB. And now username and password. Okay, so why this? Okay, so when I use this connection from SQL, so immediately it's rising exception. So let me handle here. So I'm trying to pass multiple catch blocks. One catch block is for class not found. Another exception is for SQL exception. So SQL exception. So I'm writing here system.out.println E. Okay. So one single try block can have multiple catch blocks. System.print. Okay, so this equation didn't understand system.println. So system.println, system.out.println, it's a method to write or to print some data to the console. Okay, and I used get int and get string. So these are the methods which we are using, to get records or to retrieve records from the table. So that's with the help of result set interface. Nothing. So in this demo, what I did, I just try to, I was printing only ID, first column of table. So which is the first column? Let me show you my, workbench or database. So you all can see. So this is the first index, column index, column index, which is the first one, 1, sorry, it's 1. Okay. So it is retrieving the, ID numbers. Okay. But what I have, what I did, so I try to access, other columns as well. Okay. Other columns. So for that, I just, I added this get string, get int. So why it is int and string? Because for the first ID, employee ID, data type, I used it as an integer. So we must pass, same type. We cannot pass, different data type to access integers. Okay. So same for, second column. Second column is what? Name. So for name, obviously it is a string. And again, third column, it's phone number. So data type, which one I have taken? That is integer, right? So I'm taking get int. Oh. So we do have fourth one in the sense, I guess it's a designation, right? Right. So employee designation. So to access that employee designation, so again, which data type I have used? That is string. So result set get string, and from where you're getting? From fourth column. Okay. So, and just, in println statement, system.out.println, this is just a method to print, whatever the data it's accessing to the console. So you all can see the console, right? Print data console, we use this system.out.println, and inside that method, so what we are using, we're just trying to retrieve records from the table. So how we are retrieving? With the help of result set. Directly without using result set, we cannot access records from table. Not even a single record. So hope it's clear now. Still my voice is breaking. Okay. Fine. So let's move to another one. That's a result set metadata. So now let me take prepared statement. Prepared statement. PS equals to connection object dot okay. So what to do now? Let me reconnect. Okay, so I guess problem from your end. Please check your data connection. Fine. So let's move further. So now prepared statement and its object equals to connection object dot prepared statement. And here we can, if we want it, we can get it. We can pass select query. Select star from employee. Okay, so this is my query. And now I'm trying to call result set metadata. Okay, result set metadata equals to new It's not new. It is prepared statement object dot get metadata. So with the help of get metadata, we can get actual information, or whatever the information we needed about table. It's about table. Okay, so now for this, before this, I should execute this query now to get table information. So what we have to do here, result set. Okay, result set rs equals to prepared statement object dot execute query. So what query is that? Select star from employee. Okay, and I have taken here prepared statement. Actually, no. So this is about table now. So we must use the result set object. So here it is rs. Okay. So now you can print or you can retrieve whatever information needed about table. So system.out.println. Let me write here rmd dot get column name. Let me take get column name. Okay, so here I can pass column name in the form of, let me pass index. Okay, so this is okay, so this is to print column name. And right, again, let's see which method we can access. So rmd dot get column class name. Okay, so I'm taking first index only. Okay, and again system.out.println rmd dot get column count. So I'm taking count. Okay, so same way, I'm just trying to get it type as well. Okay, plus rmd dot get column type. See, we can use any method. So these all methods, methods that describe about table, current table. So which table here it is? Employee. So I'm taking column type. So actually I am taking for the same index. I mean, first column. So if you all need it, you guys can change, change the name. Column name. Column. Class name. Okay, so now column count. Okay, so the next one is column type. Okay, so now how to deploy this? Communication link failure. I think it's missed here. First, let me check, let me comment this. It says Okay. Okay, anyhow, now let me check first retrieval, then we'll check for the metadata. So while result set dot next. Okay, rs dot get and what might be the issue here? Okay. I'm just changing, few things here. This one equals to connection dot so we have to create it for statement. Statement st equals to connection dot create statement, and now statement object. So everything is perfect only. Okay, so actually I made small mistake here, local host. So L spelling was mistaken here. So let's see now. Okay, fine. So now I'm removing this comment. Okay, so here I'm printing. So what I'm printing? Employee table info. Okay. So we can print it as a meta info also. So column name is employee ID, and class name for this ID is so java.land.integer, and column count is 4, right? And again, column type is, this is the data type, data type size. Okay, so you all, if needed, you all can check with the other columns as well. Hope it is clear. Any queries on this? So column count in the sense in this table, how many columns we have. And the column type, so employee ID. So the the size of this integer, so that's 4. Okay. Now let's go to database metadata. Let's go ahead with the class. So I'm taking the as a DB meta info. Suppose, let me show you if I take class name. So actually the database metadata is an interface. Okay, so now also actually I did explain about result set metadata. So here result set metadata we have, right? So that result set metadata is an interface. So we cannot instantiate object for that directly. So we, either we can take prepared statement or we can take statement interface. Okay. So now let me show you database metadata. Spelling is mistake. Metadata info. So now observe. So main. Okay. So here in the main. We don't need to have any statement or result set anything. So but yes, we need to provide a connection. So class dot for name dot MySQL dot JDBC dot driver. Okay, so now okay, so it's we have to handle exceptions. Throws not found. I'm trying to use throws clause. Okay, I'm not using try because it's bit lengthy, right? It's not like bit lengthy. I have to write code for that. Instead of that, we can take this throws clause to handle exceptions, right? So now equals to get connection. So here URL again. Okay. So JDBC colon MySQL colon / localhost. Okay. Slash no slash colon 3306 slash. So database name. Okay. ExcelR DB comma. So this is root comma again root. Okay, username and password. Fine. So let me, add this from SQL. Okay, so now let's create, object. So what object is that? Database metadata DB equals to connection object dot get metadata. So here you all can see get metadata. Database. So actually, this is from SQL, but here it is added with a MySQL JDBC. So let me remove this. Instead of adding these many, let me remove all those and replace this with a star. So in such case, in this case now, we don't need this one. Okay, so now let's go ahead with this. Okay, so database metadata. So now let's take system.out.println. In this, what we have to print now, of course, to get information about our database. So we have to use the database metadata object, that is D. Okay, so db dot get driver name. Okay, so this to print driver we are using, and db dot get driver version. Okay, and yes, let me check product name as well. Okay, and now system.out.println. So db dot what is it? Get driver version. Words. So it's about product name. Okay, I'm taking product name. So if need again, product version also we can. So here db dot get database product name is done. Now I'm taking version. Okay. So now let me run this. Hope you all can see. Let me expand this, right? So database, meta information. Actually, I'm not, I've not written anything here. Let me add, DB product name. And now product version. DB product. Okay, so again, driver name. Database. Driver name. So what is it? DB driver version. Okay. So now let me redeploy once again. So now you all can observe the difference, right? So product name, database product name, and version of the product. So this is my still, 7 version, and it's about, it's with the driver name is my skill connector, and yes, version is 5.1. Any queries in this? So in case if we wants to retrieve tables, okay, if we want to retrieve table, then we have to write different logic. So if you are getting class not found exception, so you have to add MySQL connector jar. The jar file, required jar file we have to add. Which jar file is that? MySQL connector jar. Okay, so now let me take, one more class. Well, let me try for retrieving tables. Okay. DB tables. So here, okay, so I'm going to copy paste these two lines. Fine. So first of all, right. So after this, yes, we have to instantiate the database metadata. Database metadata, and so I had, I'm giving it as an MD equals to connection dot get get metadata. Okay, so now I'm taking string. Why this? Actually, import java.sql dot database metadata. So here, no need of including this. Okay. So now string variable. Actually here I'm taking array of string. Okay, so array of string. Name I'll be taking it as a table. Okay, of array. So this is for the index equals to. Let me write here tables. And yes. Okay, so now result set. Okay, so result set rs equals to MD. So this is the result set database metadata dot get table. So basically here, catalog schema pattern, I'm just passing null. I'm not passing any table patterns. I'm just passing it as a null. So the last one, so we have to pass this, array type. So that is table. And now, so we can iterate. Okay. While rs dot next is system dot println. I can get here result set dot get string index. So let me pass 2 or 3. So we are getting null for the second index. Let me pass 3. Okay, so it's retrieving table names and it's printing. No need of changing package name. Okay, so you just need to add MySQL connector jar. So, to come out of that class not found exception. Hope it's clear. Any queries in this? Okay, so next, we'll move further. The next topic is about transaction management in JDBC or Java database connectivity. So what is transaction management? Anyone can answer? Transaction management. So, the transaction manager, it's a responsible for making final decision either to commit or roll back any any table data. Okay, so or we can say any distributed transactions. Okay, so this transaction manager, so there will be a concept of transaction manager. So who is responsible for making final decision. So what is that final decision? Either successfully commit or without before committing, you just cancel those transactions. So that's called it as a rollback. Okay. So now we are going to learn that transaction management. Right. So let me note down here. Transactional management. Okay. Yes. So transactional manager is responsible for what? So for making decision. Okay. So for making decision, either commit or roll back. So, this is what actual, task or information and about transactional management. So let's, let me create one example here. Not example, sorry, package. So form dot JDBC bot transactions. Okay. Right. So if we can say, this transactional management, it represents a single unit of work. Okay, single unit of work. And here in this transaction management, so we have few properties. So we can say those properties as an ACID properties. ACID. So what this ACID stands for? A stands for atomicity, and C stands for consistency, isolation, and distribution. Okay. Let me, yes, I have a slide for that. right? Transactional management in Java database connectivity. Yes, so it's a single unit of work. And yes, we can achieve this transactional unit by using its properties, ACID properties. So A stand for atomicity. Okay, atomicity is nothing but either successfully, stored in table or not stored in a table. So this is about records I'm talking. Okay, so whether successfully commit or not commit. Okay, so this is about atomicity. So then we have consistency. Okay, so consistency in the sense from one state to another state. So basically two states will be, will be having with the database. So one is in an initial state. Okay, so that is like creating object. Okay, and then that object can goes to commit state or it can goes to cancel state. Okay, so that cancel state itself we call it as a rollback. Yes, and we have isolation. Yes, it ensures the transaction is isolated from other transactions as well. And then we have durability. Okay, so it'll be like duration, right? So once a transaction has been committed, it will remain so. So even in the event of errors or maybe a power loss issues. So it doesn't matter, that object will remains in its state. In its state in the sense committed state. So these are the ACID properties. So here is, yes, of course, this transaction management, it provides a faster performance because of this, because of these ACID properties, right? So when the object is in initial state, so it goes, when we perform transactions. Okay, so yes, when the object is in transaction state, either it can goes to transaction success, so that's called it as a success state. And in case if this transaction is failed, so that state we call it as a rollback state. Hope it's clear, the difference between commit and rollback. So instead of success, we can call it as a commit. Okay, so now let's move ahead. We'll say one simple example. Okay, so one simple example or scenario for this transaction management. Okay, so basically we can perform this transaction management with a result set or prepared statement. Not result set, statement interface. So this is an example for, okay, so let me take. So it's like insert, insert record. So I had, I am naming class name as I've given it as a transaction demo. Right. So now class.forName. First of all, let me import, that API. So import java.sql.star and handle exceptions. Throws class not found from SQL exception. Okay, so now let's move further. So again, pass class.forName. From.mysql.jdbc.driver. And now connection So what I'll do, I'll just copy paste from the previous, program. Right. So this is about your connection object. Okay. So now let me call a method called auto commit. Okay. So I'm calling connection object dot set auto commit. So here set auto commit, I'm passing, I'm setting it as a false. So I don't want to go with a auto commit. Okay. So I'm taking auto commit and its value is false. So in case if it is true, if it's true, when by default, so the transaction is committed, by default, transaction will get committed. But here I don't want by default. Okay, so let's go here. Statement object equals to connection object dot create statement. Okay, so now statement object dot execute update. Where I have execute update. Okay, so here directly, we can pass what we can pass query. Okay, so basically insert or update or delete. So any query can be passed. Okay, so now I'm passing one basic query as an insert into which table is that? Employee. Okay, so values. And yes, we have to pass the values. It's about this. Right, so first one is ID. 111, comma, and then it's a string as phone number. So because query, it accepts it as a single quote, no? So one more queries, one more column. So that is designation. So again in single quote, I'm passing it as an HR. Okay. So now again, in case if we want to set one more record, if you want to insert. Okay, so I'll just copy. So insert into, I'm changing just, I'm changing these values to, okay, 3. So I guess first one will not accept because already it is, inserted. So now I'll change position. Again, developer. And here I'm taking, I'm giving here as an, let me give it as an analyst. Okay. So now let me take, so now I'm calling a method called commit. Okay, so for that connection object dot commit. Okay, so after committing, yes, we can close the connections. So which connection is that first? St dot. We don't have close for it. So connection dot close. Okay, so now I'm going to deploy this. Terminated. Okay, so we may need to check, right, whether it's inserted or not. So let's see. Okay, so committing, let me take result set. Instead of taking result set, so let's go to database and check. So for that, select run. ExcelR db dot employee. Actually, I could have copy pasted, but fine. Yes. So records are, inserted. Records are inserted successfully. Oh, okay. So first record, I guess, without execution, I modified. So it is not injected, inserted that Tarun. Hope it's clear about, transaction management, very basic, demo or, scenario. Screen is not clear. Okay. Let me reshare my screen. Any questions in this? If any questions, you guys can post it here. Actually, the same transactions can be performed with, prepared statement as well. Okay. So, but I'm not giving. So just, you guys can modify here with the prepared statement. See, before your statement object, so you can pass the prepared statement, object instantiation, and with that method, with that interface object, you guys can insert, or you people can update or modify, or delete. Okay, so we can perform CRUD operations. Fine. Any queries with this? See, you people can observe, so multiple records we are injecting, or we can say committing. Okay, so let me check here. Connection dot rollback. So let me deploy this. Error. So error is for okay, IDs. So actually we can have one simple example for rollback and for commit. So here it's not good. So let's go with the prepared statement. So this is transaction the prepared statement. Okay. Right. So here, again, in the sense, I'll just copy paste these 3 lines. Okay, so it's done. Now, so our auto commit is false. Now we can create prepared statement. Prepared statement PS equals to connection dot prepared statement. So here we can insert. Okay. So insert few more queries. Actually, I'm taking, insert. Even we can update, we can use update as well. Insert into employee. So how many values? It's a 4, right? So this is one is for ID, name, phone number, and designation. Right. So now what I'll do, I'll just take, I'll just try to take input from the user. Okay. So I'm trying to take input from the user. So for that, either we can use a scanner but here I'm trying to use a buffer reader. Buffer reader and its instance equals to new buffer reader. So inside this, actually, buffer reader is a class. So this class is from IO package. So new input stream reader. So in case if we want to get value from the user, in such cases, we can use this buffered reader or scanner class. So input stream reader. Inside input stream reader, so what we can pass system.in. Okay. Right, so now I'm taking while condition. So while true. So now what I'll do, we'll just write, we'll just try to get it. So enter ID. Okay, enter ID. For this, I'm using string s equals to buffer reader dot read line. So read line is a method. Okay, IO exception is also handling. Okay, right. So first one, ID is in the, ID is not a string, so it's an integer variable, right? So what we will do, we'll convert that string to integer. So how do we convert? So we convert with the help of parse int method. Integer dot parse int. So parse int is a method which is used for converting string to number when the string is, string is holding numbers. If it's having, any string variables. So in such cases, we cannot convert string to integer. Remember. So here it is S. And now again, enter name. Okay, enter name. So now string name equals to buffer reader dot read line. Okay, so again system.out.println, enter what is that phone number, and now again string string, I'm taking here s1 equals to br dot read line. So now again we have to convert that, right? Int f number, p number, phone number equals to integer dot %. Okay, so here %. So what we have to add? S1. So we have one more, that is string. Okay, so the last field is about, column is enter designation. Okay, so to get the get designation, again designation is in the form of string. So string designation, just giving it as a designation equals to br dot okay, right? So now what I'll do, I'll just take all these members and I'll set into a prepared statement. Okay, so this error is not for the exception is not for this program. So this is the previous one. Okay, so now what I'll do, so I'll call prepared statement ps dot set int. So in set int, what we have to pass, first index. So first index comma id. Again, ps dot prepared statement dot prepared statement dot set string. Okay, set string index, and second one is name only now. Yes, name. And now again ps dot set int it is, right? So third index, and now that is p number. Again ps dot set string. So value is, which value is that? Designation. Okay, so after setting values, we have to call prepare statement dot execute update. Okay, so execute update. I hope it's clear till now. So now I'll just continue further. System.out.println. Right, so now we are checking condition whether to commit or roll back. So it's like enter, commit, or roll back. Okay. Let me write that clearly. Enter, commit or rollback. Okay, so now string, I'm just taking as a, okay, final, not, I'm taking it as a str, or we can say answer. Okay, so str equals to br dot read line. Okay, so buffer reader object dot read line. So now again I'm using conditional statement. So what is that? If str. So instead of str, let me take it as an input. So it is meaningful input. So if input, dot equals. So if input dot equals, if it's equals to commit. Okay, if it is equals to commit, then get inside and connection dot commit. Okay, so we have one more condition. So if input dot equals is what is that? Rollback. Okay, so if it's rollback, then connection dot, then connection or object dot rollback. Okay, so now come out of this conditional statement, and now we can have one system dot out dot println. Okay, so what is that? Do you want to continue? Okay, so do you want to continue to add more records? To add more records. So here you can have yes or no. If you want to add few more records, you can go ahead, or else you can stop. So for that also we are getting value from the input. Value from user. Okay, so now string. Let me take again answer. So I'm taking it as an answer equals to buffer reader dot read line. Okay, so now if answer, okay, if answer dot equals with what is that? No. If answer dot equals no, then break. So control, it comes out of its execution. Okay, suppose if not, okay, suppose if not, again connection dot commit. Okay, so then if for the reference we can add here successfully record is saved. We can write this. Okay, and then close the connection, and then connection dot close. So we have closed the connection object. Okay, so now let me deploy this once and check if any errors or everything is fine or not. It is asking for ID. So 101 name. Phone number. designation as okay. Somewhere there is an error. So you have an SQL error. So do we have 101? No, 10001 we have. Which line it is? Read line, commit, rollback is correct. Let me check one by one. IDs, right? Okay. So after entering, so ID, name, phone number, designation. So for phone number also, we are converting. And now, okay. So here I have to close this for method. Yes. Now once let me check. ID. somewhere. No? At line 1. What happened? So this is actually getting from this place. I do need phone number. It says employee doesn't exist. Why? It's there, but let me check the table number. Employee, correct. Okay, so this I will check and then I will share with you all. So for now, I have left for one more topic, that's batch processing. Okay, so I'll just give one simple activity on batch processing. I'll just I'll take some time that I'll check this and then I will share with you all for this prepared statement transaction management. Okay, so I'm taking one sample demo for batch processing. Okay, so batch processing is a concept where we use this especially in real-time scenario. Suppose if you want to execute more than one query at the same time. Okay, so if you want to execute or if you want to perform operations with more than one query at the same at same time, so then we can go with this batch processing. So what is the use of this batch processing? Right. So what's the use of batch processing? So it provides faster performance. So that's the main main usage of this batch processing. So what are the steps which we need to follow to perform this batch processing? That is, we have to load the driver class and create a connection and create a statement object. And then we have to add the query in batch. Okay. So, and then we have to execute those batch statements and then we can close the connections. Okay, so now I'll give you a very simple example for your batch processing. let me, take this. So what batch. Okay. So let me create one simple class. Batch. So I'm renaming it as a batch record. Batch record, and yes. Okay, so now I'm taking here, let me copy paste that connection and class name, driver class name. So let me close. Right, so I'll copy paste here, and yes, throws. Okay, so throws SQL exception, comma, class not found exception. And yes, so now what I do? So I'm taking, it's okay. Okay, so now statement st equals to connection dot create statement. And now with this statement object, that is st dot, I'm trying to add more than one query to batch. Okay, and now st dot add batch. Okay, so here we can add. So insert into employee, values. Okay, so here values we can pass. So what are the values? One is ID, name, and phone number. Okay, so and designation, right? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy paste this and I'll modify. Okay, assume that. So here, let me give version 2.1, 2, 3. Okay, so okay, so I tried to modify. So I modified few records. So I just a given phone number. Let me modify this one. So designation, I gave it for same for all the records. So now what we have to do, we have to call statement object dot execute. What is it? Execute or execute update? So it's execute batch. Okay. So after this execute batch, we can call connection dot close. Okay, so now let me run. It says actually, it's nothing because we are not printing anything here. So if needed, we can go to database and we can check, or else, directly we can write our result set. Okay. So before closing connection, result set rs equals to statement object dot execute query. So what is that query? Select star from employee. Okay. And now, so while, okay, so while here result set dot next. Okay, so here in this system.out.println, so now we can check result set object dot get int. So index I'm passing 1 plus result set object dot get string. Index is 2. Okay. And now result set object dot get int, it's 3. So this, these methods are just, we are trying to get values from the columns, table columns. Okay, so the last one, rs dot get string. So that is 4. Duplicate trainee. Okay, so let me comment this. Because again, I know they're trying to execute this batch. Hope you all can see. Any questions on this? Okay, fine. So if no questions, we'll wind up. In case if any questions, you guys can drop a message in chat window so that we'll get back to you in the next session. Thank you all.